Family. All right, we are live. Yep, we are live. Let me see. I got the chat real quick. It's kind of an impromptu live. I'm remote right now. I'm actually in Atlanta, but I'll wait for the room to fill up a little bit. Kind of impromptu, but hey, wanted to talk about this. Yeah, wanted to talk about this. So it is all good. Why can't I see the chat? Okay, let me go to my page real quick. Let's see. There you go. All right, family. As you come on, hit the like button, please. This is a conversation that we definitely gotta talk about for sure. Smash the like button. Yep. I know it's early in the morning. I just wanted to go live because I'm actually remote. I'm in Atlanta right now to do a couple meetings. But I just got done watching this interview with your boy. I think his name is Darian, either Darian or Darian. I'll just say Darian. Darian Toles. Okay, the guy that was, of course, racially profiled by the white supremacist wannabe landlord lady in St. Louis at this very exclusive to me apartment complex in St. Louis, the Loft. I just wanted to hear his side of the story, and I also got wind of the uh, the the black child, the young man rather, the 9-year-old, who this white supremacist lady in the corner store bodega in New York, I think it was Brooklyn, who tried to imitate this young man. He came out and spoke about what happened, and he vehemently said, "No, this lady has an issue. I do not forgive her, and she needs help." Man, that's a 9-year-old. That's a 9-year-old. You know what I'm saying? That's a 9-year-old who's on code. A 9-year-old who's on code. So the brother, and shout out to everybody coming into the room. Riz is not my daddy. Shout out to you. And like I said, please come into the room and hit the like button. But yeah, the young man in St. Louis. Let's start with him. All right. So I watched the interview. It's on Facebook. If you haven't watched it yet, it's like a 40-minute interview, and it was interviewed by some guys out in St. Louis called Real STL News. The interview was okay. I really wanted to ask. I would ask more potent questions or more follow-up questions based on what he was talking about. A couple things I learned about the brother. The brother is a entrepreneur. Shout out for him having his own business. He got a black-owned business. Kudos to him. He says he's been well off since he was 19. He's been driving foreign cars, so he's got money. He's only 24. He got money, and he's living in a nice 3,000 a month apartment in St. Louis. The brother is doing great for himself. A successful, independent black man. A couple things I want to point out about that interview. I'll link the link in the description to that interview too. There is the link to that interview on Facebook that I watched just now. So I just wanted to share my thoughts. But he said, just checking my phone. He said that he's pro-black, right? And he also acknowledged that this lady, the white supremacist lady who confronted him, right? He acknowledged that the issue is about race. He know he's a black man. He know he's young, and he wasn't dodging the question. Now, there was a couple people on my last video talking about, oh, which this is what prompted me to watch the video because I wanted to find an interview with him that he would speak candidly about the situation. So this was the closest thing I could find. If there are some other interviews where he's speaking candidly about it, let me know. But he said um, that the lady or the situation had to do with race. He's black, he's young, you know, and if this happened to a white man, this would be different. This would more than likely this would not happen, right? This, that, and the third, right? And he kept pointing out his behavior, and I actually gave him props about how he handled himself. He handled himself with restraint, decorum, just any. Let me tell you something. For me, I would have handled that situation a lot differently. And I'm a non-confrontational person, so you confront me with that kind of energy, that energy will be turned back to you. All right. It will be a completely different story. But I gave him props on that. But here's the thing about what he was talking about, and this is the psychology behind this. He has that Bill Cosby ideology where Bill Cosby would say, and this was Bill Cosby's downfall, where he would degrade black people based off their behavior. We got to talk better. We got to dress better. Pull up our pants. We got to behave better, right? So the brother was saying that he kept emphasizing how he reacted. He reacted very positive, and even acknowledged he acted too positive. But he kept emphasizing that he was very positive. Um, didn't handle the situation negatively at all. Very calm, handled it with restraint, poise, etc. Right now, we got to understand. Of course, we got to understand. We live in a system of racism, white supremacy. We got 18 people in here, man. Please hit the like button when y'all come in. But like I was saying, he was focused on behavior, just like Bill Cosby would talk about and demeaning and degrading black people based off their behavior and things of that nature. When in fact, the dominant white society, they don't go by that. By history, remember our ancestors were lynched in suits. They don't care how you dress. They don't care how you behave. Okay? They don't care about none of that stuff. They see you as black. All right? They see you as black, and that's the end of the story. So, yeah, shout out to J Dog, St. Louis. Appreciate you guys coming in. Like I say, hit the like button as you guys come in. But I just want to get this off my chest. So he was focused on behavior and things of that nature. Again, white supremacy, they rule with an iron fist. They don't care about your behavior. They don't care about how you dress, how you look, how you talk. You're well spoken. You're articulate, right? Those code words. They don't care. They only see your skin tone, your melanin, and that's it. You're a nigger to them. Again, where I talked about the white audacity epidemic. This is the climate we're living in today. A white audacity epidemic. How dare this black nigger live in the same apartment complex as me? How dare this black child come behind me and grab my ass, quote unquote, right? You're a child. I want to see you dead. They don't care. They are ruthless. That white supremacist lady in New York tried to imitate that young man, Jeremiah Harvey. And Jeremiah said he acknowledged the fact that this lady has a problem. Racism is a major issue, and people who practice racism need help. That's what that young man said. And that's what Darian Toles can learn from Jeremiah Harvey out of New York. Be on code. And I found out about the dude out in St. Louis. He's actually from Chicago, he said. Turns out he is a white supremacist apologist. He dates white women. So he says he's pro-black, but that contradicts what he is doing, right? I found out that there's some pictures of him dating a white woman, even though he says he's pro-black. So that completely contradicts what he's talking about in terms of him being pro-black. You can't be pro-black sleeping with your oppressor or procreating with your oppressor. It's no such thing. You can't do that. You can't do that. So that's the issue I just found out about as well. But going back to that young man out in New York, Jeremiah Harvey, kudos to him, man. He's 9 years old. A 9-year-old who's on code, family. The guy, Darion Toles, he's 24 years old, still young. But Jeremiah is 9, and he already acknowledges that racism is a problem and racism needs to be eradicated. That's what he basically said. I do not forgive you, and you need help. That's what he basically said. So that's powerful, man. That's powerful. And throughout that 40-minute interview, going back to Darion Toles, throughout that 40-minute interview, he was very passive. Very passive. Like, yeah, I know it's about race, and I'm a young black man who's successful, got my own business, yada yada yada. But he really didn't offer any kind of solutions. He didn't really attack that white supremacist lady. He even said he was mistreated by the police officer or so-called police officer who was there. He said it was a female cop who came by his residence, and she felt some kind of way about him. And he was like, yeah, I'm black. That's it. So him being pro-black and him dating white women and living around white people, because that, as you saw, the building is occupied by mostly white people. So that's what it is. So I would have asked him those questions. I would ask him, why don't you try to live in an area where it was upscale but more predominantly black? Were there any areas that you could find to live that were predominantly black, so situations like this can not happen? If you're planning on moving, because he said he wants to move, will you live around an area that's more predominantly black? That's nice. That's, affluent. Are there any affluent black communities, quote unquote, in St. Louis around those areas? That's what I'll be asking. That's what I'll be asking, right? So that's just me. See what you guys talk about in the chat. Can we get some links to this? I posted a link to the interview of Darion Toles, or I'll post it again. This is the 40-minute interview. Hold on one second. That's the 40-minute interview that I was talking about. So I just wanted to get a candid response to what he went through, right? I seen your post about a woman who wouldn't let man into his apartment. Yeah, so that video that I posted, people were talking about in my comments and emails. They were saying that, oh, the brother he's a coon, and he's somebody said he apologized. He apologized to the white woman who racially profiled him, or something to that effect. I didn't hear no damn apology from him. He was just basically passive about the situation. He wasn't. He didn't attack or understand. Hey, this is a problem. That white lady has a problem, and she needs help. Just like Jeremiah Harvey, who's 9 years old, went straight to the point. He said, "I don't forgive that white lady. She has a problem, and she needs help. Just those words alone basically shattered anything that 40-minute interview from Darion Toles said. Just just that very simple sentence. It got right to the point. That very simple sentence from a 9-year-old shattered anything regarding the situation that he explained from Darion Toles. You know, it was, you know, just that simple. You know, just that simple. So it's a few black nice places in St. Louis. Yeah, I'm hoping so, man, because you know that hey, if he wants to move, he needs to move in an area that's nice, that's predominantly black. If I was the interviewer, I would have asked him, hey, you said you're moving. Where do you plan on moving to? Are you gonna move in an area that's predominantly black, that's nice? Where do you plan on moving? You know, that's what I would have asked. I would have asked those kind of questions. But that's where he chose to live. He chose to live around white people like that. It's unfortunate that it happened to that brother. You know, again, I give him respect for having that restraint, and you know, thank goodness that he wasn't uh, hurt or killed, similar to that chick Amy Geiger in Dallas, who killed that brother in his own damn apartment, talking about a key fob and all that stuff. So you know, but you know, when you're living around these devils, man, that's what happens. When you're living around white folks, that's what happens. And apparently, again, the brother dates white women. You know, he dates white women. Um, it's on Facebook, I believe, but yeah, he dates white women. So this talk about pro-black it completely contradicts what he's proclaims to be. So you know, but to be honest with you, man, I feel like I said in the title, it says Darion Toles can learn from 9-year-old Jeremiah Harvey. They can honestly learn from each other. They're both super young, you know, um, but they can learn from each other. I mean, you got Darion, who is a successful black business owner, but he was taught or he learned that in order to be successful, you have to have acceptance from the dominant white society. That's not how you become successful. If he's trying to date these white women and live around white people, that means he's looking for acceptance. You know, you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need white people to validate your success. Um, that is just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. Hey, like I said, family, when you guys please come in and smash the like button, it helps these live streams because I want to do more of these live streams, so I need more community interaction and stuff like that. White women are the curators of racism. Every race has had a white, of course. Yep, yep. A white woman that comes to mind is Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger is the progenitor of racism, like creating policies and creating statutes and creating strategies to keep people, to keep other groups oppressed. Black people. Margaret Sanger, she's the progenitor of that. You know, she's the progenitor of all of that stuff. I mean, that woman, she was very strategic. Uh, she was the curator of eugenics, population control. If it wasn't for her ideology of eugenics and population control, we would not be just 12 or 13% of the population. See, they purposely keep us so quote unquote minorities because of the ideology from Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger is the one that came up with the population control of black people. So yeah, you're definitely right about that. You know, white women are the curators of racism and hatred and oppression. And Margaret Sanger is like she's like the god woman of that for sure. You know what I mean? So, yep. Yeah, says Margaret Sanger was Hillary hero. Yep, Margaret Sanger, Hillary Clinton co-signed Margaret Sanger. She accepted an award from a known overt white supremacist who wanted to destroy black people, and Hillary Clinton co-signed and accepted an award. A lot of black people don't know that, man. It's unfortunate. A lot of black people don't know how racist, and that's the reason why. And I'm glad you brought that point up, Amari. I'm glad you brought that point up because when Trump and Hillary, were running against each other for the election, right, or selection. I didn't vote. It's just two overt racist white people that want to run for office, and I didn't vote. It was like basically both for the lesser of two evils. They were both on the same scale to me in terms of their bigotry, their racism. It's just that one did it overtly, which is Trump, and one did it covertly, which is Hillary Clinton. So one would tell you you're a nigger in front of your face. The other one would smile in front of your face and turn around and call you a nigger behind your back. That's what Hillary Clinton did. So I just said, I'm not voting for neither one. You know what I mean? Neither one. So. It's always casualties of war. Yep, for sure. When I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, Tupac was my savior. Like he said, it's either my life or your life, and I'm a bomb first. I made sure I came home, for sure. Yep, straight up St. Louis. Definitely agree with that. It is logical for black people to withhold sex from white people while in the system of racism. Whites. Yeah, well, David Sample. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's. I would say it's illogical for black people to coexist with white people. Period. We need to be separate from them altogether. Like just completely separate from them altogether. Separate everything. It's a separate society. We own and control all of our resources. They have their resources. That's it. You know what I mean? We do not need to coexist. We're not designed to coexist because when you coexist with another group of people, one group wants to dominate and subjugate and marginalize and eradicate or suppress another group. There's no just look at history. There is no you don't see any groups that are living in a society where everything is kumbaya and they live in a utopian and everybody's treated the same. No, one group is always want to dominate the other group. It's just what it is. So that's why I said we don't need to coexist. We need to just be separate altogether. You know what I mean? So speak on the black man fetish if you have time. You mean the black man fetish towards white women? Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. So that's a good question, Amari. Yeah. So the black male fetish, it is a socially engineered condition where, remember, I'll give you guys, I'll paint a picture for you guys. Okay. So when you think, I'm gonna talk about religion. When you think of Jesus, what's the first picture that comes to your mind? A lily white boy that looks like John Bon Jovi, right? Caesar Borgia. They make Jesus a white man. You're socially engineered to think that Jesus is a white man because guess what? All the goddamn pictures, all the photos, imagery, they show a white man, right? So imagery is key when it comes to mind control and engineering of somebody's thoughts. That's why you got guys like, for example, Darion Toles, who, and I saw in these pictures, you can find these pictures on Google. He dates white women, right? He wants to live around white people, right? So he was taught and he was shown and he saw that white women are beautiful. That white women is something. It's like a trophy to be around another group of people that you're not necessarily familiar with. And it's vice versa with the dominant white society as well. They have a fetish for black men, or etc. Based off imagery, based off what they see. And so when they encounter a black man, just like that chick, whatever her name is, Thornton, when she encountered Darion, guaranteed that there was sexual energy coming from her because she found the brother attractive. So that was her way of shooting her shot at this brother. Because, like I said, I would know for sure. I have definitely a hunch that that wasn't her first time seeing Darion in that apartment complex. She walked her dog every day. She sees the brother going out of his apartment from afar, but she finally got a chance to see the brother up close. You see, and so she's the type of person, just like black folks. We live in a system, we live in a modern society of technology. So in order for you to understand another group of people, well, guess what? You go on the internet, watch TV, and so she's the type of girl, a white lady, to study black people through internet, social media, TV, and stuff like that. That's how she would learn and about black men. And so she encountered a black man live in the flesh in person. She didn't even know how to properly interact with the brother. Her interaction was, do you live here? Where do you live? I'm not familiar with you. That was her way of shooting her shot. I understand that energy completely. You know what I mean? So again, social engineering and imagery created by the dominant white society is key. They make sure that you have certain images, just like cartoons for children. You know, certain cartoons for children have certain images they portray, right? Whether it be race, even homosexuality, just the certain little things that you have to catch um, from an imagery perspective. But they control that. They control that. So, all that being said is, we have to go back again and own and control our resources so we understand that we as people need to have our own imagery for things, right? Have our own narrative for things so that we understand what a black family is, right? We understand, no, let me put it this way. We understand what a successful family is. And that's a black family, you know, black man, black mother, and children, black children. That's a successful family, right? Darion was most likely taught that having a family, you got to be with a white woman. Or I feel more exclusive or I feel more powerful if I'm with a white woman. It is what it is. So, um, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, the black male, the black male fetish and the white fetish for black men and women and etc. Of course, it started in slavery. The slavery is progenitor of that stuff. So it goes back to the slave master's daughter, you know, having sex with all the slaves and all that stuff, and all the goddamn presidents who were slave owners, you know, having sex with their slaves and having these damn children, these mulatto children and all that stuff. So it comes from all that. But understand that again, the dominant white society, they own and control all the resources, so they control the power, the infrastructure, the imagery of Black people, right? And that was my point of that. They control what you perceive as um, success or exclusivity to being successful in today's society. They control all of that stuff because they control all of the infrastructure. That was my point. Um, Blonde Jesus or Black Jesus? Yeah, I mean, white women are looked as pure innocent, of course, for sure. It's funny that the Bible describes Jesus as Black, but white people made him white. Of course, that's the whole reason. See, you got to understand that if you understand the 22 church ecumenical church councils, right, from the Council of Nicaea and on and so on. The reason why they had these councils, they wanted to change the imagery of the Bible. They knew, they knew that the words in the Bible were for Black people, were Israelites, right? Those are Black people. They knew that, but they wanted to change the imagery and the perception of, Jesus being white, um, him being born on December 25th, I mean, of that date. All that stuff was constructed from all of those goddamn church councils by the Roman Catholic Church. So they did all of that stuff. And even one of the popes commissioned the painting of so-called Jesus, the white boy with blonde hair. They used Caesar Borgia and Pope Alexander, a combination of those two, to make the image of Christ. So let's see. I've had white girls at my school come up to me and say, "I like your kind," but they think that's a way of flirting. Yeah. History shows us that multi-ethnic societies do not work. Greek and Roman empires were examples of this. Both failed miserably. Chinese empires lasted thousands of years by dealing with their own. Exactly. Exactly. Just like I said, man, you hit it right on the head, David. We should not coexist with these devils. We're not designed to coexist with these people, man. We're not designed for that. We can't coexist, which is why we're gonna always have these goddamn problems. All these damn problems of white women or just white people in general racially profiling us, going into our own place of residence and killing us, all that shit. All that shit. So we can say all this stuff about we got to dress better and talk better and be well spoken. That don't mean shit to these bastards. They will kill us on sight. They will call the police on us on sight. It doesn't matter. The whole video sounded like something from Trump. Successful Black family is hard to come by. I say yes and no. Actually, I'll take it back. You're actually right because the dominant white society. If you understand the 1960s document, it's a report about Black families constructed by Patrick D. Moynihan, and he basically did a study about Black families in the 60s and understood that the reason why Black families are failing is because the lack of a strong Black man, raising his children. Single mothers were just giving birth to babies left and right, and the Black father was not in the picture. Therefore, the children were raised by single mothers, and when you don't have a strong Black male in their life, they have more obstacles to overcome, more than likely on the negative side. So it's a lot harder for them to be successful in modern society. So, having a successful Black family, yeah, it's definitely hard to come by. And the dominant white society knows that, which is why now it's like 75%, over 75% of Black mothers are giving birth to children, to children out of wedlock. They know that. Margaret Sanger knew that too, which is why she wanted to control the population of Black people with eugenics. She understood that. She understood that for sure. Let's see. Fact is, black people are being held hostage. You should do this more often. You have good insight. Yeah, appreciate that, brother. Yeah, I try to do these from time to time when I have time. I just want to do this because I have free time now to do these live streams. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming through. Like I said, if you guys are new to the channel, hit the like button. Please subscribe as well. Um, let's see. We need a military because I feel we might go through like the first Purge movie, and I believe World War III will start in Africa, especially if people continue to wake up and kick out non-black. Yeah, I mean, we need our own. We need our own everything. You know, it starts with, like I say, it starts with Neely Fuller's 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, religion, sex, and war. We need all of it. We need to own and control all of those areas of activity. You know, um, and that's the only way we can be successful. The system that we live in today is designed for white people, is maintained by white people, um, and of course, they only want to dominate. They want to dominate black people. You know, that's it. They're. Here's the thing about it: white people know how powerful blacks are. They know that. So it's like a catch-22 with them, right? They really can't live without us. Now, black people, we can coexist without them. We don't need them. They need us more than we need them. Just look at history. You know, we had our civilizations in Africa for thousands of years, and in uh, Kemet, um, Tanzania, all of those countries, we were plentiful. Remember, Africa is the most resourceful country, um, or excuse me, most resourceful continent on the face of the planet. We have abundance of resources, right? Um, you look at, of course, you look at our artifacts there, pyramids there, the oldest sculptures on the planet are there, like Nabta Playa, all constructed by black people. And these damn white scientists don't know how we did it. I mean, um, we did it without none of their help. So we, by history, we can dominate and live without them, but they cannot live without us. Remember, also, you go back in history. These guys were living in caves. They were cave dwellers, right? You know, from the Caucasus Mountains and all that stuff. They were cave dwellers, and they were bathing in feces and shit like that, and just living foul. And we taught them modern society. The Moors came in, and we taught them how to properly bathe, and how to properly eat and all that stuff. We taught them. So like I said, we know how to exist without them. They don't know how to exist without us, which is why we're in the situation we're in today. But in terms of, this whole society right now that we're living in, like I said, we live in a system of racism, white supremacy. There is a timeline. This is going to end, because I do believe, I do believe, well, not, I should say believe. I know that according to universal law, right, when you do one thing for so long, right, which is uh, being in a society where you don't coexist with another group of people, and you're successful, right, from our ancestors for thousands of years, and then all of a sudden they come over, white people, they come over and they dominate, they mistreat us, and they've been doing this for a very short period of time. So Our turn is going to come back around when we're going to be down or owning and controlling everything that we live in. It's going to come very soon. When I say soon, I'd say uh, I would say probably in the next 100 years, uh, if not a little bit longer than that. But my point is that their time of dominating, there is a timeline. They can only dominate for so long, but their time is going to end. Right? That's my point. Their time is going to end. This whole situation where they're controlling everything and owning everything is only a certain time. There's only a certain time they can do this for so long. So that's my point. Um, if Black people understood the context in which they live, they would react accordingly. Hopefully, yep, yep. We have been here for millions of years. The white man is little brother. His ass just got here. Exactly. Like, you study the DNA haplogroups. Their DNA, they've only been here for probably like 200, maybe 250,000 years, according to their DNA. We have DNA that dates back, as you say, millions of years, man. We have been on this planet dominating for years. So they just starting to dominate. That was my point. They're just starting to dominate, and they have a little time span if they're going to control everything, right? But their time is going to be coming up. It's going to be ending soon. So, yep. Lily, pull up page 95. Yep. I got the revised edition of his book as well. The revised edition of the compensatory book. So that's my Bible right there. That Lily Fuller's book is my Bible. Those are my two Bibles I go to all the time to understand and put things in proper context of what's going on. So I always go to Neely Fuller and always go to Dr. Francis Cresswell's books just to understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So um, it's funny how poor whites think they are on the winning team. Yeah, well, I mean, technically they're on the winning team because they own and control everything. You got. It's funny because you look at obviously Donald Trump, who's in office. Can you imagine the things that if Barack Obama was in office and he was doing the same exact thing as Trump was doing, like uh, calling other countries shithole countries, saying that football players are sons of bitches, you know, making fun of rape victims, on and on and on. Can you imagine if Barack Obama was doing that? They would have, or they would have. It would be the first time in history a president would have been arrested in front of the White House. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? So we live in, of course, we live in a system that's dominated by white supremacy, man. There's no way in hell that Barack Obama will get away with even just one little. If Barack Obama was caught smoking a cigarette in front of the White House, they would impeach him. You know, he had to be on a slippery slope in his during his time as a president. It's a slippery slope. But you know what? White people, the dominant white society, all these white supremacists, they hated that, which is why there was such a shift. They went from Barack Obama to an overt white supremacist, as in Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they would have definitely lynched Obama. They would have just, man, like I said, the first president to be arrested in front of the White House and probably be sent uh, to a maximum prison facility and be on death row. I guarantee you they would have put that man on death row for doing the things if Barack Obama was doing the things that Donald Trump was doing. I guarantee you. Calling African nations shithole countries. Kill that nigger. Kill him. You know? No way in hell. No way in hell. No way in hell, man. So anyway, family, man, I really appreciate you guys for joining. I just wanted to share my thoughts about this, about Jeremiah Harvey and Darion Toles. Uh, After watching that video on Facebook, man, just wanted to share my thoughts. But appreciate you guys coming through. Again, smash the like button. I want to try to do more of these live streams more often. I'll be back. I'll be back in town tomorrow, so I'll hopefully I can do a live stream tomorrow and see what's going on with you guys. But anyway, family, I'm about to take off, do a couple meetings, and thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for that. So until next time, family, John T, aka the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.